Well, that is definitely not supposed to be happening. Made it to Love's, had to take up 2 parking spots, but I guess it is what it is. Morning. So today's plan, I gotta start off by getting some irrigation going on the wheat. There we go. So now out here, we don't have a whole lot of water, so we have to run 2 wells to feed a pivot. One well is like 400 gallon a minute, and then the other well, it's like, I think like 200 and something gallon a minute. Feeding 600 gallon a minute through a pivot on the wheat, rotating at 20%, 4 days on a round, putting on about 3/4 of an inch is what the plan is. It's not great water, it's a little hard and a little salty, so if you can avoid running the pivot, you probably should. Well, that is definitely not supposed to be happening. Looks like the vent is plugged. It's kind of weird. Hopefully it didn't shoot the ball out of the end. You're not supposed to be leaking. I gotta go shut the well off now. So I got all the well shut off. I've been waiting here for a while. Oh, there we go. What are the odds of that? So if you can see that ball in there, it's sealed up now, but that ball's purpose is to go down, let it flow out, and then it pops back up into place when it needs to seal. Well, judging that there is a seal right here, I have a feeling that it goes in there like that. So I bet it blew the seal out of this, but there's only one way to tell. So I rotated it a little bit. Now it's time to go turn the well back on and see if that seals up again. Take 2. That's what it's supposed to do. Well, number 2. Gotta watch out on this one. That one sprays that way, that one sprays that way. Good enough. Rolled up to the middle of the pivot. Got to get it switched on and get it moving. Main on, machine power on. This pivot was built backwards, so you got to put it in reverse. Start. There we go. Make sure that everything is lit up where it needs to be lit up. And now you just have to make sure that those towers are moving in the correct direction, which is that way. As sad as I am to see this unit go, it's time to get the DB120 unhooked and the 410 all cleaned up. That way American Implement can come and snag this and take it home. To be able to run this planter, I had to run 12-volt power all the way back to the air compressor to get the row cleaners to lift up and down. So that involved running a wire underneath the cab and tempering it down here into this fuse panel. So it's nothing too complicated. I just ran a cord underneath the cab all the way here to this battery panel. This top terminal right here, this is 12-volt keyed power. So as soon as that key is turned on to ignition, you have 12 volts there, which runs all the way back, and it'll trip the actuator. That way my compressor will turn on and off. Close it up. Now it's time for the hydraulics in the back. So being the biggest planter that John Deere makes, you can imagine that it takes the most hydraulics out of any other piece of equipment you can pull. This planter in specific needs at least 80 gallons a minute of flow. This tractor is a dual pump high flow system, which has, I believe, 85 or 89 gallon a minute of flow, so plenty enough to run the planter. It also takes 6 hydraulics here in the back, as well as a K-stump, a power beyond, and a power return port. What's nice about these planters is they give you a nice little spot to hook all of your SCVs to there on the side. That way none of them touch the dirt. So I have them separated into halves, that way they're easy to organize whenever they come off. So this half, of course, wraps to this side, and this half will wrap around to that side. So the last step of getting this planter unhooked from this tractor takes one last hydraulic that I have hooked up. I have this all bound together with my electrical cords, because that's the first one that I hook up and the last one that I unhook. This one controls this cylinder here on the front, which lets the tongue go up and down. That way you can get unhooked from the pin. So to get that hitch down, we gotta start by starting up the tractor. I always have my hitch lift plumbed into number 3 hydraulic. Lower that down. Now that you can see air below and above the hitch, we'll try to go ahead and pull the pin. Hopefully it pulls out. That never happens. As big as this planter is, normally you gotta fight that hitch pretty good just to get it to come out, because it's always on a bind no matter what direction you're in. So as long as we have space there, we're good to disconnect the last hydraulic and run it over and get this thing cleaned up. So now when this unit was brought to the farm, it was almost spotless. But because I ran it in the field, I did get it a little dusty, a little dirty. Some hydraulic disaster here on the back. So if something shows up beautiful and it's leaving subpar, that's not okay with me. So the only thing left to do is get this spit shine from top to bottom, make it showroom ready when it leaves the farm. Because if someone's gonna go out of their way and let me try a beautiful machine like this, I'm not gonna make them do any extra work and make them clean it themselves. So I got that. So of course, the first step of this whole process is a quick power wash. So the next step to the operation is take off the spray tip. I'm gonna put the foam cannon on. All the rough stuff is knocked off. Now it's time to fine tune it and make it really shine. As always, the black line foam gun. Black line soap, went ahead and topped it off with water. Add the nozzle of the cannon, snap it on the power washer. Get back to work. It always looks better covered in foam. The whole thing is foamed from top to bottom. It's been sitting for a while, so now I'm gonna get the bucket of soap, shine up all the plastic parts, get anything that I might not have got with the power washer, and really put this thing back together. All the dirt on the outside is scrubbed off, all the soap's clean. Now it's time to hand dry it because we have really hard water around here, and water spots on a machine like this, that just doesn't sit well with me. The final step to the process is a quick interior detail, from vacuuming it out to scrubbing down all the plastics and making sure this is ready for the next customer. The tractor's all cleaned up and ready to go, so I think the best way to use the last hour of my demo is take this tractor on a subway run. There's only one way to find out, I guess. Full sends only. This might be the best daily driver that you could ever have. Smooth, quiet, refrigerator. Got everything you'll ever need. Here we are. Well, we made it to Love's. Had to take up 2 parking spots, but I guess it is what it is. I think we should go in and get me a sandwich and hope this thing doesn't get stolen by the time I get back. Got loaded up with lunch, and it looks like the police car is keeping my tractor safe. Gotta throw the leftovers in the refrigerator because we're bougie like that. You know, flashers on because we're outstanding members of society. Well, it's officially time to head this thing home. I think I've plugged up enough traffic how it is. Lunch was good though. Now let's see if we can get this thing out without tearing up anybody's vehicle. Now the trick is seeing if we can get on to 287. Blinker first. Well, we made it back home. Traffic wasn't too bad, but I'd like to thank American Implement for letting me do that. I definitely would not have done it on my own if I wouldn't have asked permission first. So thankful that they let me do something like that. That tractor is for sale. So if you're interested in an 8RX 410, 1100 hours, mint condition, American Implement has you covered.